Hi, everyone. This is Laura Tolumbus with Attuned Yoga Wellness, and it's February, and it seems to already be going pretty quickly, and it's a short month. So, um, I am claiming this month as the month of self-love. I feel like this month is all about, tends to be all about loving other people. When really, if you don't know how to love yourself, you can't actually love anyone else. Or we're loving those people through our trauma and through our wounds and from our inability to really connect to ourselves and love ourselves fully. So it's we're always moving on this sort of spectrum, and we're always hopefully falling more in love with ourselves as time goes on. But it is definitely a practice, and it's definitely a process, and it's not an easy one, because the reality is our human experience creates a lot of unworthiness and self-hatred, and we don't necessarily like to look at those things, and we don't necessarily like to see those things, but they're part of the deal, and they're part of what it is to be alive and in a body and be human. So how do we really work on this self-love practice? Because it really is a practice. It's one of the first things I like to really focus on is really start to notice how you're talking to yourself. Even maybe not out loud. Maybe you don't talk to yourself like I do, but I most certainly talk to myself. But if you're not talking to yourself out loud, if you are definitely having conversations with yourself in your mind, in your brain. And so I want you to start to notice the tapes that run. I want you to start to notice what you are saying to yourself. And then I want you to really think about whether or not you would say those things to people that you truly love, your beloved, your children, your, best friend, whoever is, who you hold near and dear to your heart. And I want you to really start to look at those words that you're speaking to yourself, because even though maybe you're not saying the words, verbally out loud, that inner conversation, that inner talk, that inner tape, that has resonance. And when we talk to ourselves in a way that is demeaning, or when we're not putting ourselves first, when we're not taking care of ourselves the way we need to be taking care of ourselves, then we break down on the inside, because we're not giving ourselves our own attention. We're not giving ourselves the privilege of our own time and our own love. And so there's a practice here, and there's a whole conversation potentially happening in your mind that we have to say no to. And that's really the first, I like that as the first step, to just start to notice where you're placing your attention, what you're hearing, what you're saying, and then how that listening is impacting you. Like, how is that showing up in your body? How is that showing up in your interactions? How is that showing up in your relationships? How is that showing up in your daily experience? And so as you breathe into your body and you start to notice, maybe you'll start to really see what you're saying to yourself. And then hopefully, if those things are not uplifting, if they're not supportive, if they're not, in some way nourishing, maybe we start to shift them to, hold a space for you to really love yourself and nurture yourself, because we can be so hard on ourselves. And, there's a fine line between, holding space and holding your integrity and holding your authenticity, and then pushing it too far and making yourself wrong or feeling bad for, what you need or how you're moving through the world. So this is the first part of this task, is to just simply notice the conversations that are happening. I also want you to notice where you're saying yes to things that you don't really want to be doing, because this is such a big deal in our society. We start to say yes to, everyone, because we feel bad, or we think we're supposed to do XYZ for this person or that person, or, oh, this person will be sad if I don't do this for them, or they'll be upset if I don't go here with them. But it's when you come back to yourself, when you really take a breath in, Is that where you want to be? Is that what you want to be doing with your time? Is that how you want to commit yourself? So your no ultimately becomes your superpower. Your no becomes that way to empower your own experience and your own self-love. Because if you're saying no in support of someone else when it's not supporting you, then you will probably be resentful. You'll probably be angry or in some way enraged. So do you really want to hold on to that rage because you needed to do that thing for this person? Or can you really support yourself enough to say, you know what, like, I really love you, but I can't do that for you right now because I need to take care of myself. And this is what I need. And this is what I have to do. And, we have to be careful with this because this can go into, a somewhat, narcissistic territory where it's like everything's about me, 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 me. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we tend to take care of other people before we take care of ourselves. So can you just start to shift the lens so that you start to put yourself first? Because the reality is, and we've all heard this before, if you do not take care of yourself, nobody else around you get taken care of. And it's just true, because you are depleted, you are frustrated, you are angry, you are overwhelmed, you are overworked. And if you are not any of those things, then fill in the blank. You decide what that does for you, what that creates in you that in some way is not serving you. So feel your sitting bones root. How are you going to create boundaries for yourself? How are you going to notice those tapes? And how are you going to start to shift the conversation? And in those places, and as I'm even talking about this, this is everybody. This is for everyone. This is not just this is for me too, because I do it too. So, I feel this like tension in the middle of my chest, like, oh, how am I going to do that? How am I going to put myself first? So I want you to breathe into the middle of the chest, because this is how I get this knowing, right? Sometimes I just sense it. So you're breathing into the center of your chest. You're breathing in, you're inhaling through the center. And as you inhale, I want you to breathe into the back of your lungs, as if the back of your lungs were trying to expand back behind you. And I want you to breathe into the bottom tips of the lungs, which extend all the way down into those back bottom ribs. So the lungs are pretty much from behind the collarbones to the back bottom ribs. And I want you to think of the expansion that's occurring there. And I want you to breathe in so that you can expand the center of your heart. This heart center, this energy center of the heart, this energy center of self-love. Feel the energy move through the center of your chest. You're inhaling into the back, and then you're exhaling forward. And I want you to feel into this space. Does it feel sticky? Does it feel like dense and heavy? Does it feel light and airy? Does it feel like really relaxing and sweet? It can feel a million different ways. Okay, so don't get attached even to those qualities. Feel into your body, see how it feels. For me right now, it feels really tight. So I want you to breathe, inhaling into the center and exhaling forward. So it's as if you're trying to move your breath and your energy through that center line. And then start to close your eyes and let your vision turn inward, so that you soften in to receive yourself, to be present to whatever is showing up. And as you exhale, I want you to feel the pelvis settle so that you feel rooted and grounded in your seat. Can you feel the connection to whatever you're sitting on? Can you feel how gravity is working to support you and pull you down onto the earth? And then out of that pull, can you rise up? Can you lift as if the whole inner body were expanding out to your skin, lifting through the back of your skull, and then just drawing that awareness to the breath, your awareness to your breath, and allowing your awareness to turn inward. So you follow the breath inside. And is there a way to sit and be sweet to yourself? I can't even count the amount of times that I've said, oh, why did I do that way? Or, oh, why didn't I trust myself? Oh, why didn't I think of that? Or, in some way, that doesn't sound so extreme. But in all of those, berate ourselves. Can you breathe into your humanity? Can you receive yourself as you are in this moment? Can we start to soften the view? So maybe it gets a little hazy for a second. And in that softened perspective, can we see those parts of ourselves that, were traumatized, that are grieving, that are wounded? And can we hold space for that part, for that piece of our heart? And as we breathe, can we simply acknowledge it? And then how do we take care of this being, this presence, our own presence? How do we take care of ourselves? How do we show ourselves that we are committed to supporting and nourishing our life and our experience? How do we commit to loving ourselves fully? And so often it can be as simple as taking some time for yourself, giving yourself the privilege of your own attention, breathing into just noticing what you are feeling. And then in that knowing and in that awareness, can we navigate our experience in a way where we are taking care of ourselves? It doesn't mean we're not taking care of anybody else. It means we are taking care of ourselves in order to take care of all of the people that we are taking care of. And so breathing in, can you feel the inner support of your solar plexus, that place where your ribs split, and that space literally bolstering, holding your heart center? Your heart center is capable of extraordinary love. But there's also an imprint of trauma and wound and grief and pain. And so can we breathe into that space? Not so that we deny it, but so that we can actually be with it and receive it and honor it. And then what do we say no to? We cannot say yes to everything. We have to choose. And so in that choice, we decide, and we can either nourish, support, love, or we can deny and berate and wound. So we get to choose. Sometimes the choice sounds simple, but the way we show up is not the way we want to show up. And even there, we need to give ourselves some space for our humanity. So breathing and exhaling down through those sitting bones, breathing through the heart center again, noticing if anything shifted. Mine feels a little less constricted, a little bit lighter. Draw your hands into prayer in front of your heart. Just sealing any intentions you're holding and just holding space for yourself to receive and to notice and to pause. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale completely. And just gently bowing your head to your heart and to your body, to your mind, to everything you hold here. Is there one thing you can do for yourself today that will support you and nourish you and hold you? And take that with you. Namaste. I hope you have a great day. That however many minutes we were here, I'm not quite sure, might have been it, and that's okay. That's something. Just start to notice when you are running those tapes, those negative tapes, and also start to notice when you are putting everyone else's needs before yours. And I just want you to pause and reflect. You might not be able to shift everything at once, but remember, it's a process. And, sometimes we have to do what we have to do. So, it doesn't always work out the way we want it to exactly, but if you can find any little morsel of time to give yourself some love and some self-care, it will help you. It will help all of us. All right, have a great day, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye.